Hello, my name is Adolfo Neto, and I'm going to show you my solution to Advent of Code, day 2. Let me put this way. And here it is. The problem today is called dive. The input is a list of instructions: forward 5, down 5, forward 8, up 3, down 8. And task 1 says that you have an horizontal position and a vertical position. They don't call it vertical, they call it depth. So after you do that, for instance, for this example, forward is going 5 plus 8, 13, plus 2, 15, and the vertical position is 5. Down is positive, up is negative, so 5 minus 3, 2, plus 8, 10. So 15 times 10, 150. That's the result here. For the input, for my input, the result is this number. How did I do that? Here I used something that I learned from Bjorn Gustafsson. He's a member of the Erlang core team. And also I got some tips from Brujo Benavides. So in order to, what did I learn from Bjorn? There is only one file, day2 underline 2021.erl, and you see here I include the lib for unit testing in Erlang, and here I do an if-def unit and if, and here are the tests. So if I try to solve part 1 with the input from the description, the result is 150. And with my input file, which you can see here, it's a file with 1000 lines. The result, of course, I didn't know this result before running the problem, running my solution. I put this number later, and that's the number that I have to input here. I had to input here. And how does and now I had this input function, which is this. If I call it without an arguments, it just gets the text that it's here. I just copy it and pass it here. If I send it an input file name, it just reads the file and converts it to a long string. But okay, let's go to solve part 1. So I did something that probably it wasn't necessary. I parsed the input, so this input now is a long string. What did I do with parse? Yes, this is something I got from Brujo yesterday on Twitter, and I split the long string in several lines. And for each of these lines, so the lines here are forward. This is one line, sorry, the first line, the second line, the third line. For each of these lines, I transformed it into a tuple containing an atom and an integer number. So the result of string split of this is something like this. If it's a forward comment, forward and an X, up and an X, down and an X. So this is the result of string split. Oh no, sorry. this string split will produce something like, let me show you, like this, forward 5. And then I do another string split for each comment, which results in this. And then this x, I know it's an integer number, and it transforms it into an integer. So that's it. I have this comment. So now I have the instructions as a list of forward x, up x, down x. And for the first part, it's a list. So I pattern match the first element of the list. If it's forward, the horizontal position is increased. If it's up or down, it doesn't change. If it's up, the vertical position, which they call depth, is decreased. If it's down, it's increased. And that's it. You do it several times, and the return is the horizontal times the vertical position. I got lazy today because the name of the function is just solve part 1, which doesn't mean anything. Solve part 2. So part 2 says that no, actually it works a little bit different. So now you have the horizontal position, the vertical position, and something they call aim. And here you see that the horizontal part doesn't change much. It's actually the same thing, but the vertical part is different. Now, instead of, for instance, up and down, don't change the vertical position. They only change the aim. And this is forward, up, and down. Yes, forward, up, and down. And with what really changes the vertical position is when you do a forward that takes the aim into account. So it's a simple calculation. The result is the same horizontal versus times vertical position. And that's it. So I did that. Let me, to run my code, the link is in the description. You just have to do that. Let me see if this works. And I really don't understand everything here. I believe this is related to that if test. So first I compile, then I run Erlang without a shell, evaluating this function, the unit test day 2 verbose, blah. So the test passed, that's okay. So there was one person on my Twitter account that asked, oh, can't you do it reading the file from stdin? Yes, you can. So that's what I did. It took me some time to learn this one. Let me just check if there was something else that I learned here. No, yes, the only this. Noticed here that thanks to this solution by Brujo, I don't have to, I eliminate the empty lines. It makes it easier for me. Yes, that's it. And this one I learned yesterday. So the second version, I have to call it this way. Oh, sorry. I have to copy. See how I do it. I first I compile, then I get the input text or input file and send it to the Erlang. Let me see if I can do it this other way. Yes, it works that way too. This way I use it a pipe from shell, but I can use it as a less than sign. And the difference is this code is uglier because I have a main function. You see here I refer to this main function. This is the name of the the module, and there is no test here. It only is only I have created another generic function with a bad name process, and then I for each line, so I'm reading every line. If I get to the end of file, I just return h times v. So this is a pair with the solution to part one and part two. And if I read a line and I get a text, I call process text. And this process text includes part one and part two here. So this is, it's not worth it to explain here. But the idea here is that I can read from stdin. So I can do it. And I did that because Brujo told me that if you are going to use case, you have to put something that returns something that you can pattern match here, not only something that you already know the form of it. So this solution is shorter, but it's uglier. So I don't like it, but maybe I will use what I learned from it, which is the idea that I have to put, I don't know if I have to put an init stop here. Let me try without init stop. Yes, I have. So if I don't put init stop, it keeps waiting for something to happen, and that I can get the input from IO get line and see if when the file ends, I can do something, return the value for the. Yes, I believe that's it. So I really recommend that you try to solve some, at least those first days of advent of code are quite easy, not quite easy, are relatively easy. People say that the ones from day 21, 22, 23, 24 are really difficult, and maybe I won't have time to do all of that. But here are my two first days. See you later. Bye bye. Oh, sorry.